watching this video. I wanted to get on here and create a live and talk about approaching women. The reason why I want to talk about it is because last week I did a survey and I asked men what problems are they having when it comes to dating, whether it's approaching, whether it's fear of rejection, whether it's breakup or other. And in this video, I just want to see what questions do you have when it comes to approaching women. And I say that because what I'm going to be doing for this live is if you watch this live and you're the first 5 men who actually sign up for this survey, what this survey is going to do is going to help me really see exactly where you're at when it comes to dating. It's going to help me understand what you actually need when it comes to me making content for you. And the benefit of it is the first 5 men who fill it out, you're going to have a chance to talk to me for 15 minutes. Now, this 15 minutes isn't just about me giving you advice. It's just not about you having a pity party. It's actually me coaching you. And what I mean by that is when we talk on the phone, I'm going to help you dissect exactly what the problem is. I'm going to help you get more clarity. And the great thing about that is you'll become unstuck. Because a lot of times when you are dating, you think that there's not anyone that understands where you're coming from. You may think that you're the only one, or nobody hears you, or nobody has the experience that you went through. And I'm here to tell you that that is what makes coaching so valuable. So that's pretty much it. That's pretty much it. This is going to really help you get unstuck and help you to move forward and figure out what steps you need to take after we get off our call. But other than that, if there's any questions that you have when it comes to approaching women, like I said, my last video that I did last week, it was 67% of you that chose approaching women. So let me know what problems, what challenges do you have when it comes to that. If there's any clarity that you need, just let me know. Just let me know what questions you have about that. Let me see something. Let's see. Biggest approach. Give me a second, guys. I'm pulling up a survey for you. All right. All right, so I went ahead and created a poll. Your biggest approach challenge, and it's fear of rejection, not sure what to say, friend zone, or other. Now, I think it's very, very valuable that you understand when it comes to approaching women, if you don't have that mastered, or if you don't have that really understood, what ends up happening is that bleeds into the rest of the dating, the relationships, if you end up getting married, whatever else. If you're messing up in this first step in approaching a woman, it's always going to show up later on. But the reason why I say that is because you're not aware of that. You're not sure how it shows up. But I'm telling you, it shows up. Because, say, for instance, you start dating a woman and your approach was garbage, meaning you had some fear, you had some anxiety when it came to that. You had all these negative thoughts in your mind that were disempowering, but you ended up lucking up and getting into the relationship, or you ended up lucking up and getting a date. But what happens is all of those issues or whatever problems you have going on within yourself, it leaks out later on. So if you didn't know how to approach a woman to begin with and you got lucky, once you start dating, maybe you had a fear of rejection. And so you start dating, things are going okay, but she tells you, hey, I don't want to be in this relationship, or I don't want to date you anymore, or I'm good, let's just keep it where it's at, but you want to move further ahead. If you already was afraid of rejection and she tells you she doesn't want to be with you anymore, she doesn't want to date you anymore, guess what? That fear of rejection starts to show up, and then you start to show who you really are through your actions. And when you show who you are through your actions, it's not going to be conducive to what you actually want when you're dating a woman. And she's going to see that because it's your fear, it's your emotions, it's things that you don't pay attention to, that a woman pays attention to, that she ends up seeing later on. And that's the same with guys that are afraid of breaking up. If you don't know how to break up with a woman, or you don't accept the fact that she wants to break up with you because you're attached to her, it shows up in different ways as well. It shows up by how you talk to her, the thoughts that you have, what you do with her. And she will see that and it will creep her out to where she doesn't want to be with you anymore. And now that you're afraid of the breakup and now she doesn't want to be with you anymore, that adds on top of that fear. So everything that you fear when it comes to a woman, everything that you fear when it comes to approaching a woman, whatever it is, lack of confidence, maybe you're insecure, all of those things show up later on. They just show up in different ways, and they show up in different phases of the dating, the relationship, the marriage, the breakup, the divorce, whatever it is. It shows up in different ways. And that's what I'm trying to teach you and tell you, is that you have to be more prepared, because a lot of guys, they get into relationships and they never prepared from the beginning. They rushed into it, or they didn't know themselves, or they had different fears. They had different disempowering beliefs about women and themselves. So when they get into a relationship, it all crumbles, and they're trying to figure out, why did my relationship fail? Why is dating so hard? It's so hard and your relationship fails because you didn't work on yourself in the beginning. Because you're supposed to work on yourself in the beginning and throughout the whole time you're dating or you're in a relationship. You don't just stop. You work on yourself the entire time. And when you work on yourself the entire time, what that does to you is it keeps building that solid foundation. So each phase, from you being single, from you dating, approaching, getting into a relationship, all of that stacks on top of each other. And you become that man that your woman respects, that she wants to be with, that she loves, that she adores, all the good stuff. But when you start a relationship or you start dating with a weak foundation, meaning you don't have your shit together, when you approach, it starts on a weak foundation. And guess what? The weak foundation gets weaker and weaker and weaker and weaker. So the foundation is weak from the approach. It becomes weaker when you start dating. It gets weaker when you get into a relationship. It gets even weaker when you get married. And then guess what? When the relationship fails or the marriage fails, then you're asked out and you don't know who you are anymore because you started the relationship with a weak foundation. And you don't realize that. A lot of you are so enamored with the looks, the beauty. You're so enamored with how bad she looks, how hot, stunning, everything to do with the looks, but that's external. That's outside of you. And whenever you're attaching your self-worth, your self-belief in who you are, anytime you attach it to something external, guess what? That external thing will always be able to control you. It will always be able to control you because you're attached to it for your own self-worth. And you don't understand that. Give me 1 second. So what you have to do is you have to detach. You detach from the outcome. When you're approaching the woman, you detach from the outcome. You detach from the outcome because the outcome really is unpredictable. The outcome is out of your control. Hell, the outcome is out of her control because, say, for instance, in her mind, she sees you, you walk up to her, and she assumes that it's going to work out, but it doesn't because you didn't know how to approach her correctly, or you gave her, I don't want to say you gave her the wrong pickup line because we don't use pickup lines as men. I would just say that she doesn't even have control over the outcome. So what makes you think you have control of the outcome? But you attach yourself to the outcome. So detach from the outcome, focus on who you are internally, and don't fill your head up with so many thoughts about what she's going to say, what she's going to do. Because here's the thing, you don't know what she's going to say. You are not a mind reader. And if you are a mind reader, let's figure out what the numbers are for the lotto. Let's win the lottery together. If you're a mind reader, but you can't because you're not a mind reader. Let's see. Flex 1986. Am I the asshole? What do you mean by that? What do you mean by that? Am I the asshole? Give me some details. Here's the thing I will say. When it comes to if a woman calls you an asshole, that's kind of like a compliment. You don't want a woman to tell you that you're a nice guy. You don't want her to tell you that, oh, you're such a really nice, sweet guy. You don't want a woman to tell you that. That's poison. You don't want a woman to tell you that. If a woman says you're an asshole and you're dating, that's actually a good thing, in my opinion, because she sees that you're not the one to play games. You're serious about what you want. But you have to understand that women will say that because they want you to behave a certain way. And if you don't behave a certain way that's beneficial to them, then hey, you're an asshole, you're this, you're that. But guess what? If you behave in a way that's beneficial to them, you're a nice guy, you're a great guy, you're a great catch, because she wants you to continue that behavior that benefits her, if that makes sense. Let me see. Check the comments above. Yeah, I just see 2 comments from you, man. Am I the asshole? What do you mean by that? Give me some depth in what you're asking. Let's see. Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about, man. You got to type it in here where I can see it visually. But that's the thing, though, is you really have to understand who you are as a man, but you also have to not change for the woman, especially in the beginning, because whenever you change for the woman, then you're not being yourself. And if she met you how you are, then you change for yourself. She wasn't interested in you in the first place, if that makes sense. Hey, you got to be specific, man. You says, "Am I the asshole?" What do you mean by that? You have to be. Here's the thing too, man. You have to be clear on what you're saying, because a lot of you approach women and you think that you're saying something that makes sense, but they don't understand what you're saying. They may not comprehend what you're saying because you're dancing around with the actual question that you're asking, or you're dancing around what you're actually trying to say. You have to be direct, and sometimes you have to be more open and transparent about what you're actually saying. And the only reason why I say that is because there's a lot of women who say that, hey, this guy was attractive. He walked up to me, he approached me, he introduced himself, but I wasn't sure what he wanted. Either he talked really low, he sounded like he was drained and didn't just have any energy, or he was shy and nervous, or he seemed like he was confident, but I didn't understand what the fuck he was saying. So I'm not trying to poke jabs at you, man. I'm just saying I don't understand what you're saying, so you have to be a little bit more clear so I can actually answer your question. Let's see, the biggest fear rejection. Damn, fear rejection, not sure what to say, the friend zone. Here's the thing about the fear rejection. You have to think about, why are you fearing rejection? What is the fear? Is the fear that she'll beat you up? Is the fear that she'll cuss you out? Is the fear of her reaction? Is that the reason why you fear rejection? Because you're fearing her reaction? Or is it something deeper inside you that you can't really explain, you can't really express? So you say it's just the fear of rejection. So I need to know what that is. If you put in the fear of rejection, I need to know exactly what you're saying, because some guys say they fear rejection, but I asked them, like, hey, when you go to a restaurant and you order food and the woman is attractive and that's the type of woman that you would approach, do you have a hard time ordering what you want? And they say no. So I say, okay, so you didn't fear her rejecting you off of what you wanted in the menu, but you fear rejection going up and talking to her. So that tells me that it has to do with a lot inside of you. How do you see yourself? What are you telling yourself? All of that, it goes into the fear of rejection. And one thing I will say is, when it comes to fear of rejection, this is the reason not to fear rejection. I'm gonna give you a quick example. So, say for instance, I took you and we flew to Morocco, or we flew to Egypt, or we went somewhere that you didn't know anybody, you never went to that country, you didn't know anything, the language, any of that. And I dropped you off and I came back to America and I was like, all right, man, you got to find your way. Now, my question to you is, what would you do? What would you do if you were dropped off in Morocco or you were dropped off in Egypt? What would you do in order to find your way back to the United States? What would you do? That's a question for you. Ask yourself that question. What would you do? Type it in the comments if you're watching this and you understand what I'm saying. Type it in the comments. The reason why I ask that is because if you were in the middle of nowhere, but there were people around you, but you didn't know where you were at, what would you do? Would you try to ask someone, hey, where is the nearest embassy? Because you know there's Americans there, they can help you. Would you ask, where is police? Would you ask, how do I get back home? Would you ask where you're at? What would you do? Now, I'm willing to guarantee and to bet that you wouldn't think or fear like, oh, I don't want to go up and talk to this person because I'm trying to get back home. I don't give a fuck what's going on. I'm afraid. I'm trying to get back home. And you'll probably, if they couldn't even speak your language, you would probably take a stick and draw American flag in the sand. You'll probably say USA. You'll probably say help. You'll probably do all those things because you're not in fear or worried about a person not helping you or rejecting you, because you already know what you want and you want to get back to America and you're lost, but you don't know anybody. So you will take the necessary steps in order to get back to America, because why? Because that's what you want. You have a deep passion of, hey, I don't know where the hell I'm at. I'm trying to get back to the United States. So I'm going to do whatever it takes to get back to the United States. So how do I relate that to fear of rejection. I relate that to fear of rejection because guess what? If you fear rejecting her, that's because you really may not even want to talk to her. Maybe you just want to feel good about saying that you went up and you talked to a woman. You really don't want to do anything with her. You really don't want to date her. You may find her attractive, but you really don't want to be with her. You really don't want to date her. Could that be a possibility? Could that be a possibility of your fear of rejection? Because what do you have to lose? She'll either tell you she's interested. She'll either tell you to get the fuck away from me. You know, she may be rude to you. Or she may say, hey, I'm already taken. I'm not interested. Those are the biggest things that a woman can say when you approach her. So let's dissect that a little bit. If she says that she has someone already, she's already in a relationship, she has a boyfriend, whatever, what's wrong with that? What's wrong with her already being in a relationship? There's plenty of women out there. So that's something you might want to think about or work on. Why do you care that she may be with somebody? You don't know for sure, but that response, that rejection, question, why does that bother you? The second thing, she's just not interested in you. If she's not interested in you, how do you internalize that? Do you feel less than? Does that strip away your self-confidence, your self-esteem if she says she's not interested in you? Or what does that do to you? And if that bothers you and that's the thought process that goes through your mind whenever you fear rejection, you got to question it. You got to dig deeper. Now, the other thing, and this happens a lot too, is you think that she may say, okay, I'm interested in you. Let's talk, let's date, whatever. But now you don't know what you're going to talk about. You don't know what you're going to say. You don't know how you're going to hold the conversation. And it's just a spiral to where that feeds into that fear of rejection. So it could be one of those three. It could be, or it could just be something in your head. You have to figure out what that is. And that's the main reason why that I created this survey that is on my website. I added the survey in this description. You can click on it, and the survey is going to tell me exactly where you're struggling when it comes to dating, what challenge you have. It's going to ask you some really deep questions to really get to the core and the root cause of why you feel rejection, why you're not sure what to say to a woman. Whatever it is, it's going to really help you pinpoint that. And then for you signing that out, or you filling that out, the first 5 minutes to fill that out, you're going to get a 15-minute session with me. And we're going to go over what exactly is your biggest dating challenge. We're going to get clear on that. And we're going to help you get unstuck to where you can see things from a different perspective. Maybe it's something deeper and less surface level than just the fear of the rejection or the approach. Maybe it's something deeper than that. And what we're going to do is dissect that, see where you're at, get you some clarity, help you get unstuck so you can see what the next steps are. Because the biggest thing is whenever you fear something or whenever there's a challenge, you're not really thinking logically about it. And you need somebody to come in there and help you see it from a different perspective. Because your thoughts, whatever you're thinking when it comes to approaching a woman, whatever those thoughts are, that feeds into your mood, how you feel about the situation, how you feel about yourself. And if you feel disempowered or you feel that you can't approach a woman or you're in fear, it goes back to the thoughts that you're having. So this 15-minute coaching session, what it's going to help you do is to figure out exactly what that is. It's going to really help you pinpoint where you're at so you can get that clarity, you can get unstuck and you can move forward. And I highly, highly recommend you taking advantage of that 15-minute call. So the thing in it for you is to get that clarity, to get unstuck, and to help you move forward with a different perspective, a different shift in your mindset, because then you'll take different actions, and those actions will end up being the results that you want. Now, what's in it for me is you filling out that survey. What the survey is going to do is allow me to understand what your biggest pain points and problems are. So if you're not the first 5 guys that fills out the survey and gets the coaching call with me, at least I know where you're at, I know where you're stuck at, and that'll help me create content. So when I do my lives, we're not just doing a Q&A and I'm all over the place. When I do my lives and I create my videos, it's going to help me to help you because I see where you're at. So that's the benefit of that. So if you're on this live right now and you have a big dating challenge and you're not sure what to do, It doesn't matter if it's approach. It doesn't matter if it's dating, fear of rejection, breakup, whatever it is. Click the link in the description and it'll take you over to that survey. And I'm doing this survey for you that are watching this video. And the next time that I'm going to do this, I'm not completely sure, but I will say from today, Saturday, and Monday, I'm going to be open for the first 5 men that fill out that survey. So let's see what we got. Friend zone. Let's talk about friend zone. Men who they fear approaching a woman because of the friend zone. So when it comes to a woman putting you in the friend zone, the reason why she puts you in the friend zone, excuse me, one, she's just not interested in you. She may think you're attractive. You may be saying all the right things, but she just may not be interested in you when it comes to dating. That's just what it is. And sometimes they're in relationships. So why do they need another man? Some women just, hey, I just see you as a friend. That's fine. But I will say, when you're approaching a woman, they put you in a friend zone because how you're approaching them. Are you approaching them like you just want to be friends, like they're your buddy or your pal? Or are you approaching them and you're being more, I don't want to say sexual, but you're being more intentive. Your intentions are clear. Hey, I'm attracted to you. Hey, I'm interested in getting to know you more. Hey, I'm interested in dating you. What are you saying that makes her put you in the friend zone? Because if you're saying the wrong thing, she's going to put you in the friend zone. If you're saying the right thing and you're clear about it, like I mentioned earlier, she's going to understand what category to put you in. Hey, this guy came up and talked to me. He introduced himself. He said he's interested in me. He gave me his number. I don't think he wants me to put him in the friend zone. I don't think I'm going to put him in the friend zone because he doesn't seem like the friend zone type of guy. He seems like he actually wants to get to know me. And some of you mess it up because of the body language. Some of you introduce yourself to a woman and you're like 15 feet away. You're like far away. And you're not even trying to give her a handshake. You're not trying to give her a hug. You're not complimenting on how she looks. Now, me, for example, and I think this is beneficial because if I'm a coach and I'm trying to help you when it comes to approaching women and not, being put in a category of the friend zone, when I used to approach women, I would just tell them that, hey, I saw you from over here, or I seen you, you caught my attention, and I'm interested in getting to know you. My name is Saul. Here's my number. If you're interested, give me a call. And that right there, it made it so clear. I told her that I was interested, number one, so she doesn't have a guess. She knows I'm interested in her. Two, I told her my name. I introduced myself. I wanted to get to know her more. I gave her my number. It's leadership. All those things that I just mentioned, it sounds very simple. And you're like, well, that's simple. What does that mean? Well, I saw you and I thought you were interested. Okay, I'm interested. I want to get to know you more. My intention, I want to get to know you more. By the way, or when I first introduced, my name is Saul. I told you who I am, who I represent. This is who I am. Here is my number. That's leadership. That's guidance. 5, call me if you're interested. So 5 different things happen in that interaction that she may have picked up on, she may not have picked up on, but subconsciously, 5 things happened in that interaction that told her he's not just trying to be my next best friend. He's not trying to be my guy friend. I'm not going to put him in the friend zone. That told her that he's attracted to me. He wants to get to know me. He has intention. He has leadership. He gave me his number. He told me to call me. He told me to call him. And see, that is what doesn't put you in a friend zone. And the funny thing is I've never, ever, even when I was 15, 16 years old dating, I never was put in a friend zone. Never. Even if the female was interested in me, but I wasn't interested in her, and I acted like a friend, still, no friend zone. Hey, what are you doing? No. Never put in a friend zone because I didn't approach myself in that way. And here's the kicker. This is going to mess you up mentally. This is going to mess you up mentally. And this is why it's so important to learn the shit I'm talking about. Once you start dating this woman, once you start having relations, once you start having sex, because we're all adults here, we're not kids, we're men. Once you start doing these things, guess what? It's okay to be friends. It's okay to be friends. And what I mean by that, I'm not saying that you're going shopping with her, you're picking out eyelashes and fingers. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that at all. But what I'm saying is you talk to her like a normal person. You talk to her like a normal person. You already told her that you were interested. You've been dating her. You slept with her. She's already going to keep you in the zone of this is the guy that I see potential with, or this is the guy I'm going to continue to date. And when you do that, it's okay. Like, hey, after work, you want to come with me to go look at this car? Or do you want to come with me to the ocean? Or do you want to come with me to the beach? Or do you want to do this and that? That's okay. That's okay. But you also don't want to become a boring guy. You don't want to become a boring guy where you have boring conversations. You don't, honestly, you don't want to be on the phone that long. You may, talk to her a little bit, but you don't want to be on the phone super long. But the thing I will say is, what do you want from that interaction? What do you want when it comes to dating? Do you want to make it something that's long term? Do you want to make it something that's short? You just have a fling like, hey, when I want to have some fun, hey, this is who I call up. This is who I hang out with. It's all up to you. And this is where a lot of guys on the internet steer you the wrong way, is because they say that your relationship or the way you date has to be this certain way. What I'm saying is I'm uncovering the things that's causing you to be stuck. I'm uncovering the things that's causing you to feel afraid or ashamed or just not being yourself. But a lot of guys, what they do is they tell you that you shouldn't do this and that. You shouldn't sleep with her, hookup culture, all these things. But the funny thing is, a lot of information that is shared to you and these guys that are talking to you, you got to ask yourself, would you want to be in their shoes? Would you want to be in their shoes? That's the biggest thing, is would you want to be in their shoes? Because for me, I'm happily married. I'm happily married, beautiful wife, amazing children, a son and a daughter. It's amazing. It's amazing. I'm 39 years old, and some people will say, hey, if you're married, why are you teaching things on dating? Why you should stay in a lane of relationships and marriage. And I'm gonna tell you why. In order to get to a certain level in anything, there's a beginning and there's a continuation. This isn't just the end, there's a continuation, because I have a son. I have to raise him, and he's going to continue if he decides to have kids, right? So when you're at a pinnacle and you've experienced life and you're where you want to be and you're successful at where you want to be, does it make sense to not help the person that wants to be where you're at? So what I'm trying to say is, if you want to be married, you want to be in a relationship, I'm not saying you have to. If you want to be single the rest of your life, that's fine. I'm all for it. You do what you want to do as a man. You think for yourself. But what I'm saying is, if you're a man that is dating right now and you want to be in a serious relationship, you want to have a good woman, you want to have a family, you want to get married and have kids, are you going to listen to the person that has never been married? They don't have what you want, and they're just dating just like you, but they haven't really progressed. They haven't really mastered the area that you want to master and you want to be at. Or are you going to listen to the person that is where you want to be? Something you have to understand, I don't think I've shared this before, but something you have to understand is, I've experienced a lot. I'm 39 years old. I'm not trying to brag. I'm not trying to tell you that I'm better than anybody else. And I'm not trying to impress you. I'm trying to impress upon you that it's possible to have a great dating life. It's possible to have a great relationship, and it's possible to have a great marriage, but it's, who are you actually listening to? Because my extensive knowledge and wisdom, based on my own experience, based on things that were shared to me, things based on my research, everything. It's not just a one-way street. And a lot of people, what they try to do is to make you see things one way. You have two eyes, but if you see things one way, then how is that beneficial to you? If you only listen to a person that is successful in dating, but they never been in a relationship, or they've been in a relationship but it failed, or they never been married, or they've been married and it failed and they never remarried, or they don't have any proof, or they don't talk about what it's like to be married or be in a relationship, the things that you want. If they don't have that, you're only seeing it through one angle, one lens. So me, for example, like I said earlier, it's my experience. My experience. I've been in the military for 10 years. I've traveled all around the world. I don't even live in my hometown. So I know what the fuck I'm talking about. I've traveled around, met different women from different walks of life. And not only that, the experiences of other men who failed and succeed. Men who failed that I learned from, men who succeeded that I learned from, that shared knowledge, wisdom, everything with me that helped me incorporate into my life to become more wise at what I'm doing, how I'm living my life. The research, the books, you could read you could do the books and all that stuff. I'm not saying don't read, don't educate yourself, but at the same time, when you do certain things like that, the biggest thing is you don't have anybody challenging your mindset and your beliefs. Because like I said before, your mindset and what you think about and your beliefs right now are at a certain level. If you read a book, or if you watch something, or whatever it is, if you get a piece of information but nobody's there to challenge your level of thinking, it's only going to make sense at your current level of thinking. And your current level of thinking is what's keeping you stuck right now. So if your current level of thinking is keeping you stuck right now, it doesn't matter what you do. That's why you have to reach out to a coach or somebody that has been in your shoes, or that is where you want to be. That's very important. Give me 1 second because my phone is about to die. Just give me 1 second. All right, I'm back. Is it going? Okay. But yeah, so that's what I'm saying is like, that's what you want to do, is you want to see things from different angles. And it's very important because just like a pyramid, there's different angles, there's different sides, there's a foundation, there's a peak, there's different ways to look at different situations. And I might have said this in my first live in one of my videos, but a coin has how many sides? 2? No, it has 3. It has heads, tails, and the side that separates the two. So when you shift how you think about your situation and you have somebody to challenge the way you're thinking in a positive way, it will elevate the way you think. So whatever information that you take in, whatever experience you have, it'll be through a new lens and it'll make more sense. But if you're only watching YouTube videos, if you're only reading books, or if you're not taking action, because if you're afraid to approach a woman, that lets me know you're not taking a lot of serious action, then you have to have somebody like me, or somebody that knows how to challenge your thought process and really give you that insight, that introspection to where you will see those results. And that's just what it is, man. You have to see things from a different perspective. There's no one way to do something. Do you think the 10 years in the Marine Corps, I only learned one way to, I'll just say, defend our country? No. Now, I will say we have this saying in Marine Corps martial arts is one mind, which is you, who you are, in any weapon. Because guess what? Maybe you're good with fighting with your hands. Maybe you're good fighting with your feet and your legs. Maybe you're good at fighting with a sword. Maybe you're good at fighting with an M16. Or maybe you're good at fighting with a 9mm Beretta. You have to understand that, yeah, you have one mind, but there's different weapons. And if you only know how to use one weapon, what happens if you don't have that weapon anymore and you have a weapon that you never used, you don't know how to use it, and there's no knowledge about it, then you're fucked. So that's what I'm trying to say is getting a coach, getting somebody to help you is really going to help you break through that mental roadblock, get unstuck, help you get some clarity, and help you get from point A to point B. And that's the thing that I talked about earlier. If you're new on here and you're just logging in, make sure you give it the thumbs up. Make sure you follow me. Make sure you subscribe. But the thing I said earlier is to understand that in order for you to get further than just the approach, you need help from someone like me to help you get from point A to point B. Because if not, what happens is your thought processes that's keeping you stuck when it comes to the approach, it will bleed over into everything else. It will bleed over into dating, relationships, marriage, everything else. So just understand that I have these 5 spots available. Fill out the survey, help me out, I help you out, and then I will talk to you later. But until next time, make sure you give this video a thumbs up. If you need to know where it is for you to sign up for the survey, it's in the description. I'll also put it in a pinned comment. But other than that, you guys have an outstanding Friday, have an outstanding weekend, and I will talk to you later. Have a good one.